multiplying decimals. So to multiply decimals, it's identical to multiplying whole numbers. And in 5th grade, y'all learned how to multiply a 3-digit number times a 2-digit number. And so we're going to do that exact same thing, but then we're going to add decimals into it in a minute. Okay, so to start off, we want to multiply our ones digit down here times this number up here. So we are going to multiply 3 times 8, and 3 times 8 is 24. So I'm going to put the 4 down here and carry the 2. And then I'm going to do 3 times 6. And 3 times 6 is 18, but then I have to add that 2 back in. So 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So I'm going to put a 0 down here and carry another 2. And then I'm going to do 3 times 4. And 3 times 4 is 12, but then I have to add in this 2. So 12 plus 2 is 14. So I'd put the 4 down here, and I don't have a number to carry the 1 to, so I just put the 1 right here. So that's going to give me 1,404. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross out all the numbers that I carried over. I'm going to cross out the digit I just got done multiplying, and then I need to add a placeholder. Is because now we're multiplying the tens digit, so my first number has to go in the tens place value. So I'm going to do 1 times 8, which is 8. And then I'm going to do 1 times 6, which is 6. And 1 times 4 is 4. So what I need to do with these numbers now is I need to add them. So when I add them, I'm going to do 4 plus 0 is 4. And then 8 plus 0 is 8. And then 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to add a 0 down here and carry the 1. Then I need to do 1 plus 1, which is 2, plus 4 is 6. So my final answer for this problem is 6,084. Okay, so now let's look at it if there were decimals in the problem. So just a second ago, we did 468 times 13 gave us 6,084, but now I have 4.68 times 1.3, so we added that decimal factor into it. Okay, so before we do anything, I want to kind of make an estimation. So looking at this, I could say my answer should be, if I just multiplied the whole numbers, 4 times 1, it should be close to 4. So my estimation, I would say, is going to be close to 4. Okay, so let's multiply everything out like we do normally. So I would do 3 times 8 like I did a second ago. And we said 3 times 8 is 24, so I'm going to carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, and then I add the 2 into it. So that's going to give me 20. And then I carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. And then we crossed out all of these numbers up here, and then I'm going to cross out the 3 and add a placeholder down here. And so then I do 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 4 is 4. And then I add these together. So that's going to give me 4, 8, 10, and I carry the 1, and then 1 plus 1 plus 4 is 6. So I still get the same number, but now we need to take into account that we have a decimal. So at the very end, what we need to do is we need to circle all of our digits to the right of the decimal. So all the digits to the right of the decimal. So for 4.68, I have 2 digits to the right of my decimal. So I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to put a 2 because there's 2 digits. And then for 1.3, I only have 1 digit to the right of my decimal. And then what we would do with these two numbers is we would add them. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So I know that I need to have 3 digits to the right of my decimal in my final answer. So where would I need to place the decimal so it's there's 3 digits to the right of my decimal? It's going to go in between the 6 and the 0. So now I have 3 digits to the right of my decimal, and it's 6.084. And so the whole number of 6 is pretty close to that whole number of 4 that we have up here. So yeah, my final answer is close to my estimation. Okay, so let's look at another one. So here's another one. I'm still using those same values, 4, 68, and 13, but now I have a decimal all the way in front of those two numbers. Okay, so knowing this, my final answer is still going to be 6,084. But if I'm looking at it and I'm making an estimation, I have 0 and 0. My answer should be pretty close to 0 for my estimation. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to count all the digits to the right of my decimal. Here I have 3, and here I have 2. And so in total, I have 5 digits to the right of my decimal for my answer. Okay, so what I would need to do is I don't have 5 digits here, but if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to put my decimal right here. So what would I need to do so I would have 5 digits to the right of my decimal for my answer? And most of y'all are saying, yeah, I'm going to put a 0. So my final answer is 0.06084. This way I have 5 digits to the right of my decimal. Okay? And looking at this, my final answer is pretty close to that estimation that we made of 0. Now let's look at one like this. Okay, so here I have 0.56 times 18. Okay, so 0.56, that's pretty close to like 1/2, right? Because 1/2 is 0.5 or 5/10. So if I said 1/2 times 18, what is half of 18? So my estimation, if I did half of 18, my final answer should be pretty close to 9 for my estimation. So let's figure this out. Okay, so I'm going to start off by multiplying the ones digit times the number up here. So I'm going to do 8 times 6. 8 times 6 is 32. Nope, sorry. 48. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 4 is 44. So I carry the 4. And then 8 times 0 is 0. Plus 4 is 4. Okay, so now I'm going to cross out the numbers I carried over, cross out the number I just multiplied, and add a placeholder down here. And then I multiply my 1 now. So 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. And then 1 times 0 is 0. Then I need to add these numbers up. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to carry the 1. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So I carry the 1, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. Okay, now we need to focus on the decimal. Looking up here, I have 2 digits to the right of my decimal. And here, I don't have any digits to the right of my decimal. So altogether, I should have 2 digits to the right of my decimal in my final answer. So if I move starting here, 1, 2, my decimal should go here for my final answer. And so my final answer is 10.08. And 10.08 is pretty close to 9, because that was our estimation, because I said 1/2 of 18 is 9. And my estimation was 9. My final answer is 10. One thing I'm hoping you noticed is that when we're multiplying decimals, I don't have to line up my decimals. This is the only operation that we don't need to line up our decimals in. Don't need to line up my decimals here. Okay? So hopefully this is making sense. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your teacher.